Welcome back, besties.
Hey, everybody.
Long time no talk.
Kelsey learned something about me yesterday on our adventure to buy Christmas balls.
Christmas ornaments.
They're balls. Our whole tree is just a bunch of balls.
Well, Kasey thought that we could buy a tree that's triple the size of our last year one without buying any new ornaments. And we put up what we had and realized that our tree was very bare.
No. Let's not lie. You decided you wanted to change and only use gold ornaments instead of the last 2 years where you only wanted neutral ornaments. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's still neutral, but I wanted a little bit more elegant.
Oh, we're going.
So I could win our tree competition. Every year we post our trees and who has the best.
It's still going to be me.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
anyways, we were driving back and we were having a conversation. I don't even know really how it came up, but long story short, I learned that Kasey doesn't like to visit with people. And I do like to visit with people. And then we started talking about our childhood, and Kasey's like, well, I didn't go visit any cousins. I don't even know what anyone's house in my family looks like. And I was like, what? What? And then I told her that I could tell you everyone's kitchen table and chair set, because that was like, when I was a child, that's what we would do, is we would sit at somebody's kitchen table and we would chit-chat, is what we called it.
Chit-chat?
Yeah, you'd chit-chat.
No.
And Kasey's like, that sounds awful.
Hi, I'm Kasey, and right here beside me is Kelsey. We are licensed professional counselors, mothers, entrepreneurs, and besties. We know firsthand what it's like to wake up one day and think, how in the heck did I wind up here?
Through our own journeys of self-discovery, we found that joy is something that has to be pursued through internal work. Now we are on a mission to help women from all walks of life understand themselves more so they can have real lasting joy.
Join us every Thursday to hear fun and insightful interviews with experts who can point you toward self-discovery and fulfillment.
I'm curious for listeners, would you rather go and visit somebody at their house, or would you rather have them visit your house?
So are we talking like a planned visit, or is this just, hey, I'm in your neighborhood, I was going to stop by, kind of visit? Or is this like, hey, on Friday at 12, I'm going to come over?
Either. I've done both. I think I've had friendships where, hey, I'm coming over now, I'm bringing you some coffee. And then other friendships where I'm like, oh, I'm going to stop by on a Friday night.
I've really tried hard to think about this. And I mean, I can think of like one group of friends, maybe two people out of that group of friends that I had in my 20s, early to mid 20s, where maybe I would be like, hey, I'm going to stop by. That's just never been a thing. I don't know. It's weird for me. And as we talked about it, it kind of started making a lot more sense just about how I am in general around other people's homes or just socially and things like that. It started to make a lot of sense. But I think because that wasn't part of what I did growing up.
Well, and when we were talking, I went to most recent, like, hey, like in my earlier 20s, probably before I had a kid or whatever, I would go visit my friends. Did you ever do that? And you were like, no. Why would I do that? Like, that just feels really uncomfortable. And I'm like, what? And then we kept like going back farther and farther to like our childhood. And it's very similar and parallel to like what we believe now in that.
Yeah. Now, my grandma's house was like the place where people would come and visit, so I witnessed it sometimes. Like, people would come visit her. She was a big, I don't know what you call it, old granny in the church, and so a lot of people would come and visit, or she had a lot of relatives from out of town, and they would stop by and visit, but I was never a part of that visiting.
Oh my gosh. Well, a lot of my childhood was visiting. Like, people would come to our house and visit, and they would talk to my mom or my dad or Misty or whoever it might be. And we would go to their house on the weekends. There was like multiple families that would come visit. Like, let's say my great aunt Verona, we would all go to her house and she would whip something up and we would all eat and socialize and the kids would be doing something and the adults would. And
I get that that's a cultural thing, and I get that that's probably normal, but what I was saying is not normal for me. And it's not like it's just your family, because I've been in relationships in the past where we would go to their home for the holidays, and I still felt weird. So it's not like an isolated incidents type of ordeal, but there's something inside of me that is so much my father's DNA, where he just can't sit. Like, he likes to talk and he'll sit and tell you a story, but when he's ready to go, he's ready to go. Like, we're not going to just sit around, and it is like literally, I feel like I'm in prison.
The reason why it kind of blows my mind in a lot of ways, but makes sense, is because it kind of contradicts what you actually aspire for, or like you really want in life.
I know.
Because we were like driving, I said, well, what are you going to do when like our kids have kids and we have grandchildren? Are you going to like visit them? And she's like, no, they're going to visit me. I said, well, they're probably going to get sick of visiting you. They're going to want you to come,
Yeah, and I know that that's messed up. And I was partially joking. I can't wait to like be all up in their house and just destroy it, and, all the stuff, torture, payback. But that's how my family was and is. Like, my grandma, she never came and visited me as an adult.
She's not going to visit you. You're going to visit her.
Yeah, like, you have to come to me. The older generation stays and the younger generation comes to them.
I would say that is... I don't think my great-grandparents ever came to my house. Now, my grandmother, that's different. She's at our house 24/7.
She's nosy, though. She likes to know.
She's a young spring chicken,
yeah,
man.
Like, she likes to know what's going on.
But I think, yeah, maybe it's a generational thing, too. Again, it goes back to it being... Like, it has to be very hard for you because you want one thing, but, like, your inside of your body is telling you something different.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very conflicting, and I think that that's why I get so tired when I have to go, is because it's such an internal conflict. Are you tired of running to the lobby to see if your next appointment has arrived? Would you like a more discreet, stress-free way for your clients to check in? Take a deep breath. The Receptionist for iPad empowers your practice to create a Zen-like check-in experience. This episode is sponsored by The Receptionist for iPad. It's the highest-rated digital check-in software for therapy and behavioral health offices, used by thousands of practitioners across the country. The Receptionist for iPad is a simple, inexpensive way to allow your clients to discreetly check in, to notify providers of a patient's arrival, and to ensure your front lobby is stress-free. The software sends an immediate notification to the therapist when a client checks in, and can even ask if any patient information has changed since their last visit. Start a 14-day free trial of The Receptionist for iPad by going to thereceptionist.com/besties. And when you do, you'll also get your first month free when you sign up. I want to be there, but it's exhausting for me to be there.
Well, and same with friendships. We talked about that. Casey's like, well, I was like, well, what do you do with your friends? Just go out and spend money? I said, that's like expensive in my opinion. And she's like, well, yeah, like who wants to go visit each other's houses? I said, what?
And I don't have friends that are really local either. Not many. I do, but I don't know. It's really funny.
I think life changes too. Like, obviously, I'm not going to go run around like I did in my 20s and go visit everyone's house. But I think people that have really, really close friends are, and I could be wrong, maybe I'm just generalizing, but the people that social media portrays, they are close, they go out and do stuff, but also they like visit each other's houses.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know anything about that, but not in my 30s. I don't know, it's just interesting. I never really realized that there was any other way until we had our conversation last night.
We can't even get people to come to our house. Like, you know what I'm saying? I invite people, but it's like a thing. I don't think we have anyone in our life that just feels comfortable enough to just
come sit on the couch
and just sit there
chill
and hang out. It doesn't bother me. And I know you said that you would rather go visit someone than have someone visit you, but I'm the opposite in that I'd like to be in my own environment.
Well, maybe that's something maybe I contribute to why people don't want to come because
you don't ask.
Well, I'm not enthusiastic about it.
See, I like to cook. I like to have people like eat, and I like to do all those things, but I can't do that at other people's houses. I mean, I sort of can, but it's just different.
Maybe you just like, got Sylvia in you.
Yeah, I'm like at your parents' house, like destroying their kitchen, looking for everything because I don't know where anything is, and then you make a mess of something. People are just weird about their kitchens too. They just don't want their kitchens messed up, and I'd rather just be at my own house.
So you can mess everything up yourself?
Yeah. Then let you clean it.
I don't know. I'm just curious, like, if other people
visit.
Yeah, that's how I was born and raised. I mean this for real. Like, I could think of everyone's kitchen table and, like, conversations that took place at each of these tables.
But, like, you can also just plop down and be comfortable wherever.
Oh, yeah. I could, like, sit on a friend's couch and fall asleep.
Not me.
I do not care.
Not me. I mean, like, when we're at your parents' house and you're laying there all sprawled out, snoring your ass off, and I'm just sitting there like, Kasey, don't fall asleep. Kasey, don't fall asleep. Like, it's so hard for me. And I couldn't even fall asleep at my own family's house. Now, I've slept at my grandma's, but I've never fallen asleep, like, on the couch at my mom's or dad's or anything like that.
And I think even, this is weird, but I'm thinking about, like, when I was in middle school and high school, my mom, we didn't really have the capacity to do those things that I loved, like going to visit people. I found it in my friend Shelby. She had lots of sisters. We would always go visit her grandparents. We would visit, like, her sister's father-in-law. I mean, like, so many different things. Like, I would spend my whole Christmas break with this random dude I didn't even know, like, he was a grandpa. But we would all go over to his house, and there we would sit all Christmas break. Never would leave. It was just, we would play Mario Kart, and there we sat. And it's weird to think about that because I'm thinking of you, and I'm thinking, well, she would never do that. She'd run.
Yeah, I give my oldest daughter a hard time. But, like, as we've had this conversation, I'm thinking, oh, crap, like, I should not say these things to her because I do the exact same thing. Like, if I said, hey, Mamie, we're going to go visit your Nana today. She'd be like, well, when are we leaving? Okay, 2:00. All right. How long are we going to stay? Like, she needs to know about how long she's going to have to be there because she would rather just be at home. And I'm the same way. Like, if you're telling me, hey, we're going to go see so-and-so, okay, about how long do you think we're going to, like, when we were at your friend Shelby's house, everything was fine. Like, but I'm sitting there thinking, how long are we going to be here?
And I do not plan those things. Like, if I'm going to go visit somebody, I'm never going to give you, like, an exact time unless I have somewhere else to be by, like, I'm going to go visit, and when my visit is up, then I'll be
How do you know when your visit's up, though?
You just kind of know. You can, like, read the room.
Oh. So it's more of, like, if they're busy or,
like, if the conversation dies down or you've been there a while, overstay your welcome. You just kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to get, my mom's making dinner or whatever it is.
Yeah, families are interesting.
Well, and if you don't notice, like, when I go home, my cousin comes to visit.
Yeah.
Yes, they're coming to visit because I'm 700 miles away, but they would come visit regardless, even if I lived close, like, randomly.
Mm.
That's normal. Oh, boy. That's so interesting. Can't figure it out. Are people supposed to visit or are they not?
Yeah, I don't know. And maybe it's just the family dynamics and your type of personality.
Well, and I was the type of friend, I would say, like, I bet you if we had Teresa Janishek, if you're listening, it's Shelby's mom, I bet you she would tell you I was I always wanted to go home and sleep at my mom's house, but I was a pretty, like, complacent kid at her house. Like, I was just, like, one of hers. Because I was always there. I was always chilling. I didn't require much.
Mm-hmm.
And half the time she didn't even know I was there. She's like, oh, when did you get here?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just, like, I don't know. I just like being around people. We don't even have to be doing anything. We can be sitting there staring at each other. I don't care.
Maybe that's why you're codependent.
Maybe. Well, I need it in my life. I need that, like, kind of connection with people.
Okay.
It's also why I'm a therapist. I mean, like, I like to listen and I like to be a part of, even if it's them figuring out their trauma, right? I like that as my outlet.
As the more and more we talk and the older I get, the more I can see how I am who I am because of the way I was raised. In so many ways. And it wasn't even that it was like a deliberate type of raising. It was just the way that things
were.
Yeah.
And they still are in a lot of ways. Like,
now, my sister's ex-husband, he had a really close family and they would do dinners and, things like that. And so I was around that. Like, we would visit with them. Like, I would visit with them and go around to different people's houses. Like, they would get together and play cards. And that was just weird for me because that was not something anyone, like, I don't remember anyone in my family ever doing anything together.
Like when Jackie and Kayla were up in the room or up in the conference room and they're like, yeah, we don't have much going on for Thanksgiving, so we're going to play board games. You guys want to come? And Casey's like, board games? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
And honestly, it's not even about emotionally exhausting or anything because I'm around them a lot and they don't drain my energy or I don't feel like I have to be on guard around them. But it's more of just in that respect, it's more of like my ADHD is coming into play because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to be able to sit and play a game for who knows how long. And I know how Jackie gets into that stuff. And unless it's like really a competitive game that's going to keep my attention, I'm going to struggle.
I don't even care about the game. I'm just coming for the people.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate a good board game, but I more like people.
But wouldn't you rather than be at our house doing it so we could eat and...
No.
That's so weird.
I would much rather go to somebody else's house. And I mean, even in my 20s, like, my friend had a kid and I would like go there on my lunch break and we would talk and then I'd be like, all right, I'm going back to work. She's like, okay, are you coming back over after you're done? And I would sit and talk to her and her husband and we'd have a good old time, watch a football game, sit out on the back porch, doing absolutely nothing. There was never like a reason I was there. It's not like we were doing a craft or playing board games or...
That is just so mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
That is just, I just really hope that somebody listening to this podcast knows where I'm coming from here and can validate me on this. Because, I mean, I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying it's just strange to me.
I could see where people get uncomfortable from it. I just don't have that in me. I don't know.
Oh, God. Okay. Please, somebody validate me on this. So if you're listening, reach out to us on social media and let us know that I'm not completely crazy and that there are other people like me that do not like to visit.
And if you are a chit-chatter, let me know. I'm not going to show up at your house and come chit-chat, but I'm just curious.
Don't lie. You probably will.
I mean, hey, invite me. I'll come.
Sure.
Okay, besties. Well, I appreciate you guys coming to listen today, and we will talk to you next time.
If you're enjoying our podcast and would like to hear more from us, leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts so we can keep making great content.
Talk to you later, besties.